Everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are diving back into my reading journal. So I'm really excited to be working on this again. What I've been doing the past few months is just whenever I get about 2 months worth done, I'm ready to work on the reading journal, just because this is one of those projects where I kind of put it off, if I'm being honest, because it is a lot of work. I have to go save all of the book titles. Here are all the book covers. I have to print them off all at different sizes, and then I have to tally up all the page numbers. There's a lot of stamping that goes on in here. I have to make sure I have everything together for the end with the book club section, which requires a lot of writing, and it's just kind of a lot. But I do really love whenever I have everything in place and everything is all up to date and I can see all the books that I have read. So now that we are over halfway through the year, I am noticing that I definitely printed these book covers off too big. I'm going to totally need to add in like a tip in or something, but I definitely don't mind doing that. I'll just add in some extra paper here as we go throughout the year so that I can add in more books. Also, I have the sizes that I print these books off at written down. So I thought I was printing them off the same size every time, which is a 0.7 by 1.1 size. Kind of weird, but I found a size that I liked. But now I'm seeing that some of these books look a little bit bigger, and I wasn't able to fit them all in this row like I wanted to. So I had to kind of move them around and make them work. But we get there in the end and we add all of these books. So I did have two really good reading months. So I read 8 books in June and 12 books in July. So I had a lot of book covers to add here. And I really love this particular spread, just the what I read in 2023, because it's so nice to look back and see all of the book covers together. It's really fun. The next spread that I have is my monthly favorite. So I always pop down one book every month that was my favorite. And I've had kind of some trouble finding a book that I really loved the past few months, but these two were not the case. I read The Only One Left by Riley Sager in June, and I absolutely loved it. So it is a great thriller. I love Riley Sager anyways. All of his books I have so much fun with, and I'm the type of person who loves a outlandish, silly thriller. I want the thrills to just keep coming. The twists, the turns, the more the better for me. And I have so much fun just going along with it, suspending my disbelief and just enjoying myself. I like those kind of thrillers more than ones that are just kind of something that could really happen. I like a more outlandish storyline. So I really loved The Only One Left. I gave it 5 stars. I super loved it. And then for July, I actually had 3 5-star reads, which was so awesome. But I chose the short story collection At Home with the Horrors. If you like horror or scary stories, oh my gosh, it was so good. There was 14 scary stories, and each one was great. I mean, there really wasn't any that I did not like, none that bored me. I loved all of them, and so many really were thought-provoking and kind of scary. I mean, a couple of them were super spooky. So I loved it, had a great time with it, gave that 5 stars for July as well. Now we've moved over to my book Shelfie. So in this one, I kind of do the same thing here. I have these 2 printable bookshelves, which I'll have all that information linked below if you want to grab these for yourself. But I have a color-coded system here at the bottom, and I color all of these books a different color, obviously, depending on if it was a 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1 star. So we have all kinds here. We have definitely a few 5s, the yellow are 3s, the pink are 4s, and then we do have a 1 star. So I'll give you one guess to see if you can figure out what the 1 star read was. And if you said Joanne Fluke, you would be correct. So I was still going very strong on my Joanne Fluke reading during this time. And I think in June I read or listened to maybe 4 or 5 Joanne Fluke books. I was just flying through them. But this was during one of the worst times. So definitely throughout the span of all these books, y'all, at this point I've read 20 something Joanne Fluke books, the Hannah Swenson mystery series. And if y'all are not new to these videos, these reading journals, y'all will have heard my spiels about this time and time again. But I have listened to so many of these books, and there have been a few that were very hard to read for different reasons, but once we got into the ones that I was reading, like at this time, like during June, the storyline was just so infuriating, the way that they went with this storyline, and I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say any more, but it was just so bad. Honestly, it was like insulting to the reader, I felt, that they had done this storyline. So that is what that 1-star read was, and as we've gone on, though, they've gotten a little better. I've got to say, they've been bringing back the cozy vibes a little more, and I've been enjoying them at least more. Like, I feel like we've gone back to whenever I was at least somewhat enjoying these books. And I'll say, I don't think any of these that I have read have been groundbreaking or super great or even the best cozies that I've read at all. These are just ones that I just kind of started to read the entire series of and just kind of went with it. But they did get exceptionally bad. But I've been so invested. I'm only like 3 books from the end, you guys. I mean, I'm almost up to the book that came out in 2023. So I can't stop now. You know what I mean? But luckily they are getting better. So if you are on this journey with me, it's going to get better, at least somewhat. So now we've moved on to the actual monthly spread as I've been chatting here. So I kind of this is an autopilot because I do the same thing every month. I stamp out June stats at the top. I draw in my little boxes and add a few stickers, fill everything out, and we're good to go. We'll add the photos of the books on the opposite page. So this goes pretty quickly. It just is a lot of stamping and a lot of like drawing the boxes, figuring out the size of the boxes, all that kind of stuff. So I have June stats here and I'm adding on my stickers, and then in that first box, that's going to be my total amount of reads for the month. And then I still have the 3 boxes underneath that do the audio, the ebook, and the physical, which once again, I wasn't sure if I was even going to put that in 2023 after I documented that in 2022, but I didn't know what else to put, so I just went ahead and kept it going. But I never really read an ebook. It's super rare that I do. I did start the At Home with the Horrors as an ebook, but I finished it as a physical book in July. So, I mean, I didn't count that. And I listen to 99.9% of my books. I listen through audio, and then, so sometimes I don't even have any physicals. So here for June, I had a total of 8 reads and I listened to all 8 of them. So I have not that much to document there, but it's all right. We're just going with it obviously till the end of the year. Then for these bigger boxes, I always do my genres, and then I do my total page count. So before I get on the camera and everything, I go through on Goodreads. Goodreads is a huge help for me. I keep track of all the books that I read over there. So it's really helpful. Like right now, we're already in almost mid-August. So I was able to go on Goodreads, see which books I read in June and which ones in July. It keeps track of like when you read the books, like the dates. So it's easy to confirm everything. And then I just tally up the page numbers there and we're good to go. So then, of course, I print off all of my book covers. So these are printed off at I think 1 by 1.5 size. That sounds right. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that that's right. So I just print off all my covers. You'll see that here I did read 5 Joanne Fluke books this month. So I was powering through them because I was really trying to finish that one awful storyline and move on. The Wedding Cake Murder is the one that got the 1-star rating. Speaking of 1, I did read the book The One by John Marrs and absolutely loved it. This was my first John Marrs book, and he's like a thriller writer, and I just really, really loved it. I thought the concept was so cool. His writing a lot of the time reminds me of a Black Mirror episode because it kind of has a futuristic twist to it, or at least the last couple books that I read did, and The One definitely does. I will say that there is a Netflix adaptation of the book that's way different than the actual book, and it was not good at all. I as far as I'm concerned, I did not like it. The other book that is included that I haven't talked about yet is Vinyl Resting Place, which is a cozy mystery that we read for this month's Cozy Mystery Book Club over on Patreon. I really loved it. It was super cute. I loved the atmosphere of it. It took place in obviously a record store / coffee shop. It was filled with puns. It was filled with comfort and coziness and just cuteness. So really liked that one. Gave it 4 stars. And I think that's most of my takeaways. You'll see that the other Joanne Flukes are just 2 stars. So this was not a good Joanne Fluke month at all. So I mostly read cozy mysteries, 6 cozy mysteries and 2 thrillers. Now, just like the other months, I've added a little yellow kind of doodle to the top and bottom there. And there you have it. Those are all my books for the month of June. So then we'll move on to July and we'll be doing the same exact thing again, but we will be documenting all 12 of the books I read this month. So yes, I read a ton of books in July. I did really good, but the reason why I did so good was because over on Patreon, every month I do a vlog video. So I do a video where I'm like showing my face. I'll like do different things around my house or take you on adventures with me or whatever. And this month, or for July, I did a reading vlog. So I'm obsessed with BookTube. I love reading vlogs in general, and I thought that I was going to try to do my own. So I created a TBR of a lot of graphic novels and also smaller books, shorter books, things that I thought that I could get done within like a 2-day span. And I did a reading vlog where I read 6 books throughout that vlog, and it was really fun. I thought I had a great time doing it, so I really challenged myself. So in July, I did read more physical books and a lot more books than I probably would have without that challenge. So here we're doing all the regulars, we're adding on our boxes. Now I do kind of count the amount of little dots. You can see those little dots in the background. They help with creating the boxes and all of that. But I'm not too picky with it. I mean, I don't use a ruler. I'm kind of counting them, but if I'm a little off, it's not a big deal to me. I mean, I'm not that concerned with it, but I try to get it as correct as I can. So adding on my stamping here, and then we'll start filling out all of the stats. So for the total reads, of course, we have, I have to outline and I'll have to write in everything. But for the total reads, we had 12 books, like I said, and I did it right in the middle where I listened to 6 books and I physically read 6 books. So once again, no ebook. So that's why I think that maybe for 2024, if I do a reading journal again, which I probably will, I think that I will probably do away with that, at least with the ebook portion, because I just never read any ebooks. I don't think I've read an ebook all year long. So I'm adding on my stickers. As you can see, I'm so low on stickers. It's sad. I really need to get, of course I have tons of stickers in my stash, but I was kind of using these same stickers in here, so I really should grab a few more on Pipsticks. These stars, it's so sad, they like never have these in stock anymore on Pips, and I love them. I love to have them for my sticker challenges and also for this reading journal, so I hope that they will pop them back into stock at some point over there. But right now it doesn't really matter. I'm just adding on a few stickers here and there just to make it a little cute, and then we'll fill everything in and we'll have the July stats ready to go. So as I'm filling in this part, I'll kind of tell you some of the books that I read in July. So the books that I read for the reading vlog challenge were At Home with the Horrors. I did choose that one because it was a short story collection, so I thought maybe I could get through it quicker. It did take me several hours to read it. It was like over 300 pages, but it was so fun. I loved reading it physically. It was just really a spooky book. There was a story in there called Peeping Tommy, and I'm not going to give you any details. I don't want to give you nightmares, but wow, was it ever a spooky story. I also read Not for that vlog challenge, actually. The first book there, 19 Claws and a Blackbird, and it was another short story collection, and I have to say I felt the complete opposite for that one. They were not scary to me at all, and I just didn't get a lot of them. I don't know. I really did not enjoy that book very much at all, and I only gave it 2 stars. Also for the reading vlog, I read the next 2 in the Blood on the Track series, my favorite manga series. Right now, at least, I finished 11 and 12, so I'm pretty deep into that story, and it's just such a weird, creepy story about a mother and son and their weird relationship, and it just gets more and more odd each book, so I read those. I also read another graphic novel called Through the Woods, which was another spooky storybook, so I had a lot of kind of thriller and horror books going on throughout that book series. I don't know if that was like the best idea because I was reading alone at home for a lot of it, but that one was good as well. I think I gave it 3 stars. I also read Come Tumbling Down, which was the, I think, 5th book in the Wayward Children series. Just one of my favorite book series. They are so, so good. If you want like just a light fantasy, but the writing is so beautiful, and all the books are like 200 pages or less, and so they go by crazy quick. I loved it, gave it 5 stars, so that was really fun. And I think the last book that I read for the challenge was Luster, which was by the author Raven Leilani, so I had to read that one, and I was entertained throughout it, but I think maybe it just, after reading all those horror and scary books, I just don't know that it was the book that I should have picked up. It wasn't scary, but it was kind of just, I don't know. There was just a vibe to it that I don't know that I was like vibing with. So it was okay. I gave it 3 stars, but certain parts I liked more than others, I'll say. But it was another short book. Besides that, you will see that I did get through 3 more Joanne Fluke books. And if you notice, they're all 3 stars. So see, we're doing a little better now. Like we're getting past some of the awful storyline that I did not enjoy. And I think the books are getting a little bit better. I also read another John Mars books, The Passenger, or The Passengers, which was another kind of Black Mirror-esque story. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. And then are there any more? Okay, A Death in Door County. That's the last one, which was the cozy mystery for this month's Cozy Mystery Book Club over on my Patreon. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was I think, monster hunter mystery. So our main character was a cryptozoologist or something. And so she was like an expert with all of those kind of cryptids, I think they were called, like the Loch Ness Monster and Sasquatch and all those kind of things. So it was just a interesting, different kind of storyline than some of the other cozy mysteries that we have read. So moving on to Cozy Mystery Book Club, this part's going to go by pretty quickly because for some reason I had some camera issues and the lighting got really, really weird, so I had to cut some out. But you'll see that I added in the 2 book covers at first. Then I also print them off larger, so I print them off at a 3 by 4.5, so pretty big size here. Pop that on right to the top of the left side, and then I kind of just go in an assembly line order and stamp and do my journaling and do all the things. So every month over on Patreon, I always pop up some questions just to like help the flow of the book club meeting and kind of get your brain going. So I always fill those out and I pop the questions into my reading journal here. So I'm doing that now. So that's just printed off on regular computer paper and I just pop it right in. I gave both of these books a 4-star rating. And then here's where some of my stuff got kind of cut out. It was crazy lighting issues. I don't know what in the world had happened to my camera, but you'll see that I just added on my stamping and all of that just like we did previously. And then here I just always add kind of any additional thoughts about the book and about the book club meeting and all that kind of stuff. So I just popped that in and I already have June done behind there. I'm going to add just a little bit of washi tape tape, I always just find some sort of smaller washi that kind of matches, and I pop that onto the right side. So there you have it. We are all done, and it feels so nice to have these 2 months finished in here. I had a lot of books to document, and it feels great to have it all done. So I hope that you enjoyed this process video. If you did, please give me a like, and please also consider subscribing. And of course, I'll be back at you super soon with another one. Have a great day, you guys, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, friends.